So you beautiful people, welcome back to the channel. Today I wanted to speak a bit about Sledgehammer games and my opinions on Sledgehammer games, and it is going to come across as quite an opinionated video, and it's an opinion that is mine that may not necessarily be shared by you, and that's okay. That is absolutely fine with me. This channel is not an echo chamber and never will be an echo chamber. I like dialogue, I like debate in the comment section. I just don't like when people talk to me like I'm an idiot in the comment section. We can have a chat as adults in the comment section about this. That's what it's for. But ultimately, there's always going to be a small cult following that loves one particular Call of Duty game that the general consensus probably won't. Every single Call of Duty game that has been released has this small niche group of people that think it is the greatest Call of Duty of all time. And then there's the more pop culture Call of Duties like Black Ops 2, Modern Warfare 2 that have what is supposedly the biggest following. But those are things that are all subjective and open to debate. What I don't believe is open to debate, in my personal opinion, is that Sledgehammer Games has to be the worst developer that COD has ever endured. And in my opinion, I would be happy if they ceased making Call of Duties tomorrow. Now, I have to say, there's a small caveat to this. They have been involved in one of my favourite Call of Duties of all time, which is Modern Warfare 3. However, the one thing I'm going to say to that is the recipe was already wrote by Infinity Ward. All they had to do was follow that step-by-step recipe to cook that delicious dish that was Modern Warfare 3. 55 days played on that game. Now, some of you may think, wow, it wasn't that good of a game. It was more to do with the fact that I really enjoyed it. It was the days before skill-based matchmaking was really rife, because the next game that came along was Black Ops 2, and a couple weeks into that game a switch was turned and skill-based matchmaking was real harsh for probably 4 weeks or so. So I went back to Modern Warfare 3 until they toned it down a bit, and then I reverted back to Black Ops 2. But yes, 55 days played in Modern Warfare 3, but it wasn't their solo campaign. But that game definitely gave them an opening with Activision to say, you've done quite well with this game. It was quite well received. I think it was one of the most sold Call of Duties, or close to it in the end. And they got the chance to go solo. And then they hit us with the likes of Call of Duty Advanced Warfare, which in my personal and humble opinion is the worst Call of Duty I have ever played. And it's still holding that title by a long run. It's at the bottom of the barrel when it comes to Call of Duties for me. And again, going back to that niche group, there may be some people, it's a cult following for it, that think that is the greatest Call of Duty of all times. There was just so many stuff in that game that I disliked. I thought that the advanced movements were very clunky, especially when you compare them to the latter of Black Ops 3 and Infinite Warfare. I felt like the maps were just atrocious. I didn't like the futuristic setting with laser beams. I don't mind a futuristic setting. I just felt like they just went one step too far for me. I like bullets. I like bullets being shot. I don't want laser guns being shot. And on top of that, we had this absolutely predatory supply drop system. That was the introduction of real, and I mean real, pay to win guns in Call of Duty. We're talking about the Speakeasy, the Bow Obsidian, the AK-12 RIP. Those guns were so frustrating to come up against, especially if you didn't own them. And the only way you could own them was to purchase supply drops and get them in there. That was the only way you was going to really get those. Yes, we can say that they were probably forced onto them by Activision, but we've seen in the past these developers have some sort of power over the developments of these games, and I just feel like the rollover far too easy when it comes to certain decisions put into Call of Duty, although I understand that their boss is ultimately Activision. Then we move forward and we go to the likes of Call of Duty World War II, which again, for me, I hated it eventually. I'd done a lot of content on it because what they did was quite different, but I didn't enjoy the game. The division system was just too restrictive for me and it didn't feel like Call of Duty. On top of that, the World War setting is not my favourite setting. I understand it's supposedly more visceral in terms of the conflict and what really happened, and I think that plays out great in a campaign, but when it comes to the multiplayer aspect of Call of Duty, I just feel like the modern setting or the near future setting is the best place for Call of Duty to be. And I wasn't the only person that felt this way, because this game had a total revamp 6 months later because of the state that it was in, and the player retention was very low, and a lot of people actually returned and told me that it turned out to be a really decent, strong Call of Duty title in the end. But the trend's still there. 6 months later, after we've paid X amount of money to purchase this, you wouldn't expect to get the product that you initially paid for in the first place. And once again, we are here with Call of Duty Vanguard. But for me, Call of Duty Vanguard is worse in every title that I've mentioned in terms of the aesthetics of the game, in terms of the finished product of the game. How can these games that have had 3-year dev cycles be worse than games that had 2-year dev cycles? It doesn't make any sense to me. And in reality, if I'm speaking from the heart here, as a Call of Duty fan, a real Call of Duty fan, I would be quite happy if Sledgehammer Games turned around tomorrow and said they were going to cease making Call of Duties. Yes, they've been a good backup team, and I feel like that's all they should be, is that team that supports others like Infinity Ward as they have previously, because that's where they seem to do a good job, and we seemed to get Call of Duties that were pretty much finished with the odd bug, because I'm not going to say that Call of Duty can't come out and not have a big major update a month later, but not in the state of the game that we are currently playing. I really feel genuinely sorry for some of you on console who have been DMing me and showing me the state of the game on console. Talk about a kick in the teeth, getting a next generation console which is supposed to have the ability to almost compete with, I'd say, older gen 20 series graphics cards now. 120 hertz, 120 frames per second, all that sort of stuff. And if you're a Call of Duty fan and that's all you play, which is, I'd say, 90% of the games that I've played in the last 10 years have been Call of Duty. I'm sure some of the discs that have been in my PlayStation have managed to spin far enough to get to the moon. They've been in that console for so long. It must be a massive kick in the teeth to actually be lucky enough to get yourself a PlayStation 5 and then not be able to play the one game that you dedicate yourself to, which is Call of Duty. And some of the stuff that I'm seeing from you guys, it's absolutely shambolic. I have moved on to PC. That was a decision I made quite a while ago, and I was a bit apprehensive about playing Call of Duty on PC, but it seems like PC have actually had the best experience this year as opposed to the worst, which is traditionally what happens, even though it hasn't come without its problems. So for me, I would just be happy to see Sledgehammer Games cease. Maybe in general, maybe we need to get rid of all of these studios and then just have one super studio that is dedicated with all the staff from all the other franchises, the Trakky, the Infinity Wards, the Sledgehammer Games, and they come together amalgamated as one super studio, and then maybe we wouldn't have these issues where we're getting unfinished games, because I believe genuinely Call of Duty fans, consumers definitely deserve better. And if there's anyone out there that disagrees with that and keeps giving this real lame excuse about the pandemic, then I think you're an idiot personally, because there is no excuse for these products to be coming out like this when we have to pay for them. If they're going to be in this state, then do what other big franchises have done, or other games that were really waited upon, and delay them responsibly for the fans. that turn up for your game year in, year out. Guys, down in the comment section, let me know your thoughts and feelings. Do you believe Sledgehammer Games should continue making Call of Duty games? Do you believe that these franchises need to be obliterated and informed and amalgamated into one super studio? Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section. Guys, there are many buttons you could hit, but a like and subscribe button, I hope they took your fancy. And as always, guys, don't forget to stay on the right track. Peace.